I'd like to call this regularly scheduled governing board meeting of the Yuma Union High School District number 70 to order. Will you all please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence? Thank you, Ms. Pratt. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 1.2, we're going to move to action item 6.1, election of president and vice president. For president, are there any nominations for president?
I would like to nominate Jackie Kravitz.
Is there a second? I'll second that. Any other nominations?
I'd like to move to nominate Carlos Gonzalez.
Is there a second?
Second.
Great. Any other nominations? Let's have a vote to close the nominations. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll proceed to vote. We're going to do a roll call vote. Please say either Carlos or Jackie as your vote. Shelley.
Carlos Gonzalez.
Carlos.
Carlos Gonzalez.
I'm going to vote for Jackie Kravitz.
Jackie Kravitz.
Jackie Kravitz.
Thank you. Is there a motion? No, the motion carries for Jackie Kravitz to be president. I promise the rest of the meeting will be better. Thank you. For vice president, are there any nominations for vice president?
I'd like to make a nomination for Christy Craddock.
Is there a second? I second.
I don't think there has to be a second. We're just opening for nominations.
Oh, opening for, really? It's not the same? Okay. Are there any more nominations for vice president?
I'd like to nominate Carlos Gonzalez for vice president.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, so we have two nominations, Carlos and Christy. Let's proceed to vote. We're going to do,
We have to make a motion.
oh my gosh. Is there a motion to close the nominations? Thank you, Mr. Brienza.
So moved.
So moved. Great. Now, let's do a roll call vote.
We have to vote to close nominations too.
Oh, now we have to vote to close them. Oh my goodness. We had a motion, we had a second. Now let's make a vote to close the nominations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we will vote. Thank you. Let's start on the other side. David.
Christy Craddock.
Christy.
Christy Craddock.
Carlos.
Carlos Gonzalez.
Shelley.
Carlos Gonzalez.
I will vote for Christy Craddock. Christy has 3, therefore, Christy, you are the new vice president. Thank you for serving. Moving on to item 2.1. Board members may have a discussion about conferences, visitations, legislation, special recognition, donations, etc. Are there any board member reports?
I do.
Please.
I just want to say that I I attended the Vista High School graduation in December. And I can't say anything bad about it. Every year it gets better and better. And so I'm looking forward for the next one. Thank you, Mr. King.
Thank you. Anybody else? Great, thank you for sharing. Item 2.2, superintendent's report. I'm going to pick up my name tag that fell.
Oh, okay. We're off to a great start to the new year. I want to thank everyone for being here. Superintendent report is very short today, simply because we don't have any student councils. They'll be showing up again in February. But I do want to recognize that over break, our campuses were able to be maintained with pristine care based upon our maintenance staff. Our custodians and maintenance actually spend all of break working on our campuses, so they're prepared for tomorrow, which is the first day of class. So Emilio and Trevor, thank you for helping lead that work. They're in the back. Could you guys stand up to be recognized, our executive director and director, so thank you. Even though today I was personally thanked for supplying paint, I don't micromanage the paint, so that must be someone else who supplied it. But I do thank our staff for making sure that is taken care of. But that concludes my report.
Thank you. We're going to move on to informational item 3.1, budget update. Ms. Brenda, Happy New Year.
Yes, thank you. Happy New Year. My name is Brenda Higuera. I am here to provide our monthly budget update. You should have those in front of you as always. We're about halfway through the school year, so you'll notice that in some of our percentages on that. So our first page is our maintenance and operations budget. And you will see that by the different categories, our salaries, our fixed expenditures, and our school budgets there. Our second page is our maintenance and operation budget broken down by our different departments. And then at the bottom is where you'll see our budget totals. So for the school year, our budget for our maintenance and operations is $109,027,008. And expenditures as of the end of December was $40,461,447. So about 37%. On the next page is our capital budget. And there you will also see the expenditures broken down by the different departments and the school budgets. Our budgeted amount for our capital is $14,497,182. And of that, we have spent about 43%, which is $6,220,215. Any questions on those budgets?
Are there any questions? I have one comment, which is thank you so much, the entire finance department, for maintaining our financial health as well as you do.
Thank you. The very last page is our monthly student activities fund report. And there you'll see it broken down by school. The ending cash balance is $780,136.76. The bottom shows our year-to-date revenues and our year-to-date expenditures, with the balance being $65,515.08. Any questions? That concludes my report.
Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you.
Moving on to informational item 3.2, first read of the ASBA policies. Mr. Jankowski, your name is on this. Is there anything you need to add for us?
No, these are just policy advisory updates that we get, and usually something small gets added to it, either a date or just a couple little things.
Yeah, it was in our board book. Thank you. Does anybody have a question? Okay, great. Moving on to item 4, call to the public. Any person wishing to speak may present the information at this time only. All presentations are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes and a maximum of 15 minutes on each subject. Before you begin to speak, identify yourself by clearly stating for the record your name. Comments by members of the governing board in response to any public comment will be limited to asking staff to review the matter or requesting rescheduling of the matter for further consideration at a later date. I do have 3 forms in no particular order. The first one is Mr. Gwynn, Bruce Gwynn.
Good evening, Bruce Gwynn, 6792 East Telegraph Street, Yuma, Arizona, and thank you for this opportunity to talk to you. I was looking for a way to convey my feelings about this last election and not my anger. And this is meant only for those who participated in the negativity, whether that was creating negative signs, financing negative signs, placing negative signs, or speaking negatively. Yuma is a wonderful community. that supports the citizens and has done so for years. But we just witnessed a mudslinging school board election campaign that has never been experienced by me in my lifetime. You have taken the honor and privilege of running for a nonpartisan position and turned it into a nasty, vicious election that has scarred this wonderful community. I firmly believe that unless you can run on your own merits and must stoop to lambasting your opponent in order to win, you have nothing to offer our children. You have given the students you have governing power over permission to steal the honor and integrity of others. I'm extremely disappointed in the Republican Party, for which I am a Republican, for adding the candidates to their Yuma ads. It's a nonpartisan election. Shelley, Carlos, and Jenny, I applaud your ability to take the high road and run on your merits. Shelley, I was proud to serve with you on this board, and Carlos, I would have been proud to work with you at any time. Jenny has an educational record, probably more than anybody on this board, to be able to serve this board. It takes a lot of courage to run for an election, and she did, and she was run through the mud. She won't be back, and that's sad. And what was done to Jenny will not encourage anyone else to run. I had an election, my second one, where nobody ran. We didn't have an election. It was sad. And you discourage people from doing that with this kind of tactics. This is a wonderful, beautiful community. Please, let us not ever do this again and run on your merits only. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Chris Larson.
My name is Chris Larson, Yuma, Arizona. Good evening, Superintendent, members of the board, all those assembled. I wanted to take a moment to talk about the perception of the quality of the education that our students are receiving here at Yuma Union High School District. We promote, as a district, the numbers that are good, our graduation rates and so on and so forth, and we should, the things that we're doing well, we should be announcing those publicly and loudly. But there is a lack of confidence in the quality of the education that our students are receiving among the general public. And it's got a lot of causes. One, we've all had experiences in the general public with, seemingly lower educated youth than we would expect them to be. We've been in school, we remember being in school and having fellow classmates who may not have been ready to graduate, but were graduated anyway. Maybe some of us were those students, and we know who we are. And then there's proficiency reports that come out that indicate a significantly lower levels of proficiency than our graduation rates, and it's hard to justify those. I do feel I was ready to graduate, but there were times when I myself was a recipient of some rather generous grading policies 40 years ago in a dependent school in Germany. So this is not specific to Yuma Union High School District or even today. It's been going on for a long time and all over the place. And that was fine way back when it was pretty easy to get a job, you could raise a family, make a life, regardless of what was going on otherwise. But times have changed, and we need to make sure our education is providing our students with what they need to function in today's world. This perceived low quality of education is not new, but the needs and expectations of our society are. If we are providing the students with the education they need for today, we need to be making it, promoting that evidence that we're doing that, not just the graduation rates, but the evidence that we are providing them with the education they need. If that education doesn't exist, that evidence doesn't exist, let's get that evidence so that we can promote it loudly and clearly. And if we are graduating students that have not received the education they need for today, then we really need to seriously reevaluate everything that we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Lastly, we have Mr. John Lasser. I haven't quite figured out this beeping thing, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Board. My name is John Lasweer. It's good. Lasweer, yeah. You said it just like it's spelled. We say it not like it's spelled. Lasweer. So it's good to be with you. I live at 5882 East 44th Place. My beautiful wife, Rebecca, and our 3 children are sitting with me. I'm new to Yuma. Moved here about a year and a half ago, so haven't met you yet, and I just wanted to introduce myself. But first, I'd like to start by showing you a video. It's a short clip, but you may have seen it on social media, but it brought tears to a lot of eyes yesterday. This is from the Gila Ridge Hawks wrestling room yesterday. That was emailed to me yesterday at work, and I choked up as I saw my son be one of the first boys to run up and give his coach a hug. And it wasn't just my son that had that reaction. There were 40 boys in that room and girls in that room that were thrilled for the reinstatement of their head coach. And I'm just grateful here today for those in the district that made it possible for that reunion to happen yesterday. It had been almost a month since he had been separated from his wrestling team. He had missed 2 tournaments, and today he's where he needs to be. He's up in Mesa with those boys, helping my son hopefully get the victory over Mesa Red Mountain in a match that he lost last weekend to that same wrestler. So just tremendously grateful to Mr. Ortega and to Ms. Hoover and those in the district who helped this come about. So I want to start off with that thing. And I think we're in a good position and arrived at a good, little worried about some of the implementation plan and process and whether that's going to go smoothly. But I think conceptually it's good idea, but some of the logistics may be difficult. But I think we're in a good spot.
Sir, I'm so sorry, your time is up.
Time's up? Okay.
There's a finishing thought you'd like to say.
Just this. I'm going to be speaking here in 2 weeks, or here in a couple days. I'm not going to represent him anymore. I'm going to just be a dad. And when I am just a dad, I'm going to be talking about the process. It was really unfair to him. He had a story he couldn't tell. He didn't know if he could submit a public records request because he was told he couldn't talk to any district employee. That's unfair, it's abusive, and it's unlawful. And it shouldn't happen to any district employee. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone particular, but the process needs to be addressed. And I'm happy to have those conversations with anyone that's interested in listening to the story.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to do a call to the public? Okay. Moving on to item 5, consent items. Adoption of items of routine nature and those that normally do not require deliberations on the part of the governing board. A board member may pull items which will be discussed and voted on separately. Is there a motion to adopt these items as presented?
So move.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Motion made by Carlos, seconded by Christy. Are there any comments, questions, concerns? Great, then we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 6. I'm getting there. Not 6.1, we're going to 6.2. Accept donations. I'm going to read them. Tu Casas Mi Casa LLC donated 20 uniforms to the Cibola High School girls soccer program. The estimated value of the donation is $2,200. Hans Gaston donated 2 books to the Cibola High School library. The estimated value of the donation is $30. Donors Choose donated classroom supplies to the Cibola High School Living Skills classroom. The estimated value of this donation is $588.58. To Gila Ridge High School, Margarita Rodriguez donated a football helmet to the Gila Ridge High School football program. The estimated cost of this donation is $569.09. Enrique Garcia donated a football helmet to the Gila Ridge High School football program. The estimated cost of this donation is $600. Lindy Caudle donated a football helmet to the Gila Ridge High School football program. The estimated cost of this donation is $600. Hawks Home Plate Booster Club donated $1,500 to the Gila Ridge boys baseball team for travel and registration fees. Hawk Wrestling Booster donated 20 singlets to the Gila Ridge High School wrestling team. The estimated cost of this donation is $1,029. To Kofa High School, the Royal Dancers Parent Booster donated $10,000 to the Kofa High School Performing Dance to be used for field trips, lights, show tickets, and meal expenses. San Luis High School, Liliana Perez donated a marching band banner to the San Luis High School Marching Band to be used during parades, I said that wrong, or presentations. The estimated cost of this donation is $60. Somerton High School, the Thunderbirds Foundation donated $1,000 to the San Luis High School girls golf team to be used for any travel expenses. To the Yuma High School, the Hispanic Research Center Bilingual Press donated 520 books to the Yuma High School library to be read and enjoyed. The estimated cost of this donation is $10,710.87, which brings the total donations this month to $28,887.54, and the total year-to-date donations is a whopping $262,358.35. It is recommended that the governing board accept the above listed donations. Is there a motion? Great. Motion made by Christy, seconded by Shelley to accept the donations. Any comments, questions, concerns? Wonderful. We will proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 6.3, approving the personnel action. Mr. Lambert. Thank you.
So, good evening. This item is before you today. This is for the actual band director at Yuma High. And the reason why the other band director was leaving and this one was on the same board, so we had to do this as the action item, and this is being done to make sure that we have continuous supervision for the band program.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that the governing board approve the personnel action to hire the attached individual for the list vacant position.
Second.
Motion made by Christy, seconded by David. Any comments? Then let's proceed to vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Action item 6.4, consideration to approve the intergovernmental agreement with the City of Yuma to establish a school safety interoperability program. Mr. Brianza, Mr. Jankowski?
I think Rob and I are trying to look at each other. So I'm going to look at Mr. Gonzalez, our Health and Safety Director. So this is actually some monies is responsible for paying for this that was received a couple legislative sessions ago to provide an opportunity to have a panic button in case of school threats or shootings that school staff would be able to communicate real time with law enforcement. But I'll let Mr. Gonzalez speak a little bit more detail to that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Renza. Board President Kravitz, members of the board. Essentially what it is think of it as an integrated critical incident management system with some key features. One of those key features is what's called a RAVE app, which would be an application that would allow for users to initiate contact with first responders in the midst of a critical incident. Furthermore, there would be a management system that we would have available to us here at the district that would allow for us to kind of manage those alerts, but also speak directly to first responders, provide critical information to first responders. Another key feature is it would integrate with the computer-aided dispatch CAD system that is used by our first responders. So, for example, if there were maps that were provided to first responders and an alert was initiated that was through GPS, they would be able to tell exactly where that alert come from. And then we would be able to use, I believe it's geo mapping, which would allow for first responders to know exactly what a building looked like, entry and exit points. And then finally, one of the key features is it would allow for us to integrate with existing technology. So, for example, we have camera systems. So if we so chose to, we could integrate that system within our camera system. So first responders would have a bird's eye view as to where they needed to respond to in the midst of a critical incident. And so as Mr. Brienza shared, that was something, a grant that was received by the Yuma Police Department. It's available not only for folks here at the Yuma Union High School District, but it's available for all school districts. So it's something that's community-wide, and we're excited to work with our law enforcement partners to increase the services and technology and responses that we have here at the Yuma Union High School District.
Does anybody have a question other than me? I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
When is the implementation date, and is training also included in the
So
grant?
training is absolutely involved. If you're not a tech savvy person like me, we recognize that we would absolutely need to have our users know how to use the system. It's currently in the contract process. I know they were kind of working out some final pieces, but I anticipate that here very shortly we will begin to initiate what that plan looks like in terms of initiation. I can tell you that we do know that there's a lot of technology involved. Mr. Dean Farrar and I have met a number of times, and we recognize there's a lot of technology involved, so it will take some time for them to come in and look at our systems and see how we might integrate. But once we have that system in place, as a former law enforcement professional, I do believe that this would absolutely increase the safety and security features that we currently have within the high school district.
And you'll let us know when you get it going.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Is there a motion, please?
So move.
Motion made by Carlos, seconded by Christie. So we are going to approve, the motion is made to approve the IGA between the City of Yuma and YUHSD number 70 to establish a school safety interoperability program. No questions? Let's proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item 6.5. 6.5. The development agreement between YUHSD, Somerton School District, Von Verde Partners, LLC, and the City of San Luis. Diane, anything to add?
This is regarding our newly acquired property, our latest acquired property. And this just gives the Von Verde Group permission to go ahead and begin development of their housing division that they want to do down there. Should we continue on with our project of building a school, it helps us significantly. In Somerton, we had to do a lot of the infrastructure. This will already have the infrastructure in place. There's no cost to us at this moment. There could be once we start developing a school, if we go in and pay for half of the roads or things like that, that could be negotiated with them. But for right now, what this does between the four entities is give them permission to start their housing developments.
Thank you. Any questions?
Where's this company from, Von Verde?
They're actually local, local company. Yes. Actually, I believe graduates of our schools.
Yes, I do believe at least one of them is once a crim, always a crim. So there you go, Mike Fritz.
Anybody else? Great. A motion has been made and seconded, so let's proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 6.6. Bobby's coming up. The revised employee compensation packet for next year,
Yes, ma'am.
or for this year.
Yes. So the revised portion is the social worker salary grade, moving from a grade 6 to a grade 2. This would all apply to social workers hired after January 8th of 2025. So this information was obtained through just kind of looking at the salary that we were paying for social workers, and then kind of reviewing that with the other social workers in other school districts in the community and across the state, and to actually bring us more in line with the other districts. That's the reason why we're bringing this before you now. One thing to also keep in mind here is that the social workers will keep the Prop 301 money as well, but it just helps us be more in line with others. And
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Great. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, approve the revised employee compensation packet for the 2024 school year.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Carlos. If there are no further questions, let's proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 6.7, the YUHSD course catalog. Mr. Bosch.
Yes, I will speak to that. So in the spring of 2024, we began working on combining our course catalogs. We used to have a course catalog for our primary academic courses, and then we had a separate course catalog for our career and technical department. So we began working on combining them, coming up with an interactive and informative product, which, Danny, are you planning on displaying? Okay. So Mr. Patton's going to speak to this in a few minutes, but I'll just give a little bit of why we wanted to put this product together. So the teaching and learning team, the CTE department, some of our instructional leaders, Mr. Patton and his team, it was kind of a team effort to create something that was digital, easily able to navigate on our websites, which we plan to put it on all of our school websites, where you can have access not only to our course descriptions, whether or not there's a fee associated with the course, is it a weighted grade, does it meet NCAA requirements, but in the course catalog, which you'll kind of see if you haven't seen already, there's information about standards-based grading, about Mastery of the Arts program, our special services departments, so it's kind of like got a magazine-y feel to it. So we're hoping that our students and families appreciate it, and it's informative and helps them make decisions based on what courses they want to take. So Mr. Patton, if you would want to speak a little bit to the handbook or the catalog.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Bosch. Good evening, governing board and superintendents. We're going to walk you through how to access it on our website first. But I did want to reiterate what Mr. Bosch talked about. The idea was that we were making it look like a magazine/college course catalog with feature articles, not just bland PDF Word document descriptions of all of our courses. So it was to liven it up, modernize it, bless you.
Thank you.
And you'll get to see it right now. So it's available on the district's website, but I think our community would most likely access it through our school websites. So Danny, if you want to go ahead and go to schools in the top right corner and just choose any of them, it's on each of the school sites in the same location to make it convenient. So we're going to go to the academics tab and hover over that, and you'll see course catalog. It's alphabetized on that left column. So fourth from the top, and you click that, and it's going to take you to the digital flip book version of the catalog. So that's the front, that's like the magazine cover version. We can go ahead and use those arrows in the middle to skip pages. It's actually 136 pages combined between those articles and all of the course descriptions and information that's in there. So we can go ahead and skip to the next page. The nice thing is it's interactive. You get to see some of the logistical information about our schools, a message from Mr. Brienza, which kind of mirrors the message that's on our website. We can go to the next page. And that's the table of contents. And when I say it's interactive, almost everything that is on the table of contents is clickable, and it's going to send you directly to that section of the document. So you'll see page numbers next to those. Those don't really matter all that much, but again, it's making it mimic that magazine feel. So we'll go ahead and click number 7, the Career and Technical Education section. This is one of the initial pages that you arrive on, it's going to give you a kind of inspirational quote and a graphic image representing that section. And go ahead and go to the next page. For the CTE section, there's an example of one of the articles, so that's talking about industry certification. My team of Christian Magana and Leslie Avila spent a lot of time researching, interviewing people, and writing the articles for majority of this magazine. On the second page there, next to the article, actually go back one, yeah. No problem. That's going to show you all the CTE offerings and with school logos representing where those programs are offered. And I thought that was just kind of a cool feature to see all in one place. In the old document, you would have to actually go to those specific courses and see the description, and it would have the school initials. Now there's a visual representation of where all of those programs are offered at each of our campuses. We can go to the next page. And now you'll see them ordered alphabetically, again, just by program title. The logo that's in the top left corner in that circle of each description is representing the CTSO that the program is a part of. And then you'll see a lot of the additional information that is included in the in there, like little tips and stuff like that black box in the bottom. If you continued scrolling through there, you would see more links to go to additional articles that are related to the content in that section. Danny, if you can go back to the home page, and you can quickly go back by clicking that button like she is right there with the arrow and the line in front of it. And we'll go back to the table of contents. We'll show you a core course description section. So go ahead and click Social Studies. This was actually the first one. I've seen this specific section for about 4 months now, because it was the first one that we submitted and got designed. And so we've been kind of working as a template off of this one for so long. As you can see, it's similar to the CTE one with the visual representation and an inspirational quote about history. We can go to the next page. Each section, especially in those core course areas, is going to have a chart like that with all of the course offerings, and then it gives you a breakdown of if they have course fees, if they're dual enrollment available, and what other details that you might need to look at as a quick reference as a parent, a student, teacher, counselor, anything like that. But we're really hoping that this is used mostly for our families in our community to see the breadth of courses that are offered. As you can see then, you see a breakdown for each of the courses, the course number, and the brief description of all of those. You can flip through a couple of more pages just to give an idea. And if we had the sound on, you'd actually hear the pages turning, which is like a cool little quirky feature of it too. One more page, and so I'll give you an example. Like, say you're on this page and you see that button down on the bottom of the right page that says Cambridge Curriculum. You can click that, and it'll take you directly to the article about Cambridge Curriculum. You could read about it. You could get more information by scanning those QR codes to go deeper into it and learn more from our website or from the Cambridge website. And there's lots of those little buttons throughout the document that you can access some of those 136 pages in a lot quicker fashion than thumbing through it or scrolling up and down a PDF. So we're really proud of the work that went into it. It was a massive team effort. The group internally that worked on it included about the entire teaching and learning team, the entire communications team, and many others that contributed to the final product, and we're really happy with where we're at, and it has a great way to start our 25-26 school year. So, any questions?
Please. Is it mobile friendly?
Yes, so that's a great question. As you can see on here, it's the 2-page spread. The only difference between this one and the mobile one is that the website will convert it to make it a single page, and it's a lot more manageable for the website, so it's easier to view the information. Because if it was shrunk down to those 2 pages, it would be a lot harder. You'd probably have to zoom in and out of stuff, but it does convert it to be one single page on the mobile version. It's still interactive, and all those features are still available. It's just a lot easier to read.
Anybody else? I have a comment. First of all, amazing. Like, it's fantastic. As a parent of somewhat recent graduates, this would have been really helpful as their parent, and specifically for the students too, to look and to be able to bounce back and forth. So big kudos and shout outs to the whole communications team and the whole teaching and learning team. Thank you for always moving forward.
For sure, and I know that a lot of parent feedback kind of contributed to where we got with this. And
Right.
the target audience really is students, so
Mhm.
we're hoping that it's something for them to be able to go through and have a little bit more information at their disposal at the same time.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you. This is extraordinary. I do feel like you're setting the standard pretty high for some universities to be able to follow.
Seen some
this,
ugly ones.
right? I know. This is just in how it's interactive, and it just not only that, it just shows such a level of excellence, and for the students to see not only technology-wise, but the amount of effort of information that has gone into this. So I'd be really excited, to receive that in print form, but also, as a student and parent, to have that and to see that level of excellence. So thank you. I love all the articles and the sayings and everything. It's really nice. A lot of time you can tell went into this.
I would be remiss to not mention the work that CTE put into it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Off the cuff, naming off people that contributed, and then they were a big piece of the puzzle for this as well. So Lori Honeycutt and her team were major contributors as well, obviously. So.
It'll probably be nice also for other, educators to be able, even, for 8th graders or 7th graders, to be able to look at this and to go, this is what, to showcase that's what you have to look forward to, and different options as well.
Definitely.
Do we have this in print form, or is it just electronic?
We went just electronic with this. In fact, we've always pretty much
okay.
done that. I mean, I know campuses had printed out some in the counseling office of
Right.
the old PDF version. But as Mr. Bosch mentioned, having the document combined, I mean, before, if you looked at our website
Cost
currently
us
for
so
the
much.
24-25 fees, it's a separate document. For the CTE courses, it's a separate document. And then for all the rest of them, it's another one.
This is nice.
So this to all be in one place is just user-friendly in its own
Wonderful.
right.
And it's in Espanol as well.
That was a lot harder undertaking. So as of right now, it's not.
Okay.
But there are things that you can use to translate a document like this. We just put this up there for the visual representation tonight. There is a PDF version as well. And so what I intend to do after tonight is put a link to the PDF version as well. And then there's a link that will accompany that, like we have used in the past for some of our other PDFs, that will give a family the option to translate it into Spanish.
Thank you. So is there a motion? I move that we, the governing board, approve the 2025-2026 YUHSD course catalog and course fees. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by me, seconded by Shelley. Comments, questions? Great, let's proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for all your hard work. Item 6.8, call for executive session. Is there a motion? Motion made to go to executive session. Is there a second? Thank you. Motion made by Christy, seconded by David. Any comments? Let's take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for attending. We'll probably not see you when we get back out. Okay, we are back in session. Moving to item 8, wait a minute, 7, thank you. Item 7, I wrote all over this. Future agenda items. Does anybody have a future agenda item? Please.
I've been approached by numerous people. No, doesn't need to be.
Yes.
About an absence policy. Is there any way we can have a stakeholders committee or something to look at the pros and cons of what would be a pro for having one and a con for having one, just so that we can appease? I've had a lot of people approach me, teachers, admin, parents.
Okay, so absentee policy for a future agenda item. Thank you.
Absence for what? For
School absences.
For students,
for board or
For students.
for students?
I think.
There's not one now.
So, don't want to talk about a whole lot, but can we say something about, instead of absentee policy, maybe absenteeism?
Yes.
Then that's a broader, maybe study session where we
Yeah.
can go more in depth and look at different things.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
I have a future agenda item as well. I would like to see an agenda item for a resolution to our federally elected political leaders asking that they create a settled law that's uniform across the country or something like that regarding Title IX bathroom policy. So I would like that on a future agenda. Something to that regard, in that regard.
My mic wasn't on, sorry. I apologize, Dean. I get scolded if I don't have my mic on. So resolution dealing with asking our elected leaders on the national level to have some sort of settled law regarding Title IX bathrooms?
Correct.
Okay.
Our Arizona leaders.
Yes, our elected leaders from Arizona that are on the national level. Okay.
Okay. That's what I would like. Anybody else?
Yes. There's another, speaking of elected officials, we had a resolution several years ago regarding I can't remember the exact title, Arizona-wide statute, to prohibit minors from going into Mexico, unaccompanied minors. And we sent a letter, it was to the city of San Luis. I don't think we ever heard back from them. So if we can either resend it to them or just do a follow-up to see if we can get some kind of response from them.
Is that a future agenda item, or you just tasking me with doing something? Yes, there was a letter
We did a
written.
resolution or something.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll research it. How's that sound?
Okay,
Yeah.
research it. If not, I would like to have it as an agenda item to resend it.
Okay.
Anybody else? Great. Our next meeting of the board is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025 at 5:15 right here. Is there a motion to adjourn? Second? Motion made by Christie, seconded by David to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. See you next month.